Hello everyone else, welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about why nobody believes in big ideologies anymore. I was thinking about for a while what is the reason behind all the big ideologies are collapsing anymore. So I just find a solution for that. Because even the sacred book, Christianity, Islam and Jewish, people believe in this kind of sacred books and people just accepting as a sacred books. So, but nowadays ideologies can be more powerful than the God, but it's for a while. It's temporary. It's not a very steady position here. And after a while, the God is staying steady in this maintenance, but the ideologies are collapsing. Even it looks more powerful than the God. So actually, it is something like a fake misconception. So here, all the consciousness are just getting aware of the situation, right? So firstly, I'm going to talk about all the ideas. Maybe I have just small kind of ideas here. I'm going to explain them, and then I will give my own opinions about it. So let it continue. The first idea is democracy. Even the Plato mentioned that the democracy is not good for everyone else. For example, think about your riding on a ship and the ship can be crashed somewhere else. Maybe the ice can be, think about the Titanic, etc. But I want to get at something here, especially in the Titanic. If the Titanic just gets crashed to the ice, probably it can crack the ice. It could continue to his rota, So here the issue is it's so different. Than think about democracy. Would you vote for someone else even he doesn't know how to use the ship, or would you prefer someone else who has experience before about just using a ship? So it is better to choose someone else who had an experience about just using a ship. But mostly in democracy, people can choose someone else different, and people can choose someone else very wrong. That's the reason why democracy is not good, and Plato criticizes it. In the Plato's perspective, maybe I can just mention the Plato about something like the Hinduism. The class exchange is impossible in the Plato's statement. That's the reason why I'm really against the Plato. I prefer Aristotle about this issue. So think about the liberalism. So the liberalism, even the national democracy, is maybe the community just get participating in the life. They are participating in the democracy, just the votes, the freedom, etc. But the democracy is a political system in which power belongs to people. Citizens participate in governance, so voting and representation. Okay, it's understandable. We are representing government, but according to my opinion, in the state, everybody is representing government. If you are doing something mistake in the public, probably it can affect other people as well. As a human being, if you are a citizen, if you are a civic, you need to just obey the rules because you are just accepting the agreement, the societal agreement, before you coming to the society. But if your society expelling you, if you someone like experience the same expulsion like me, so sometimes we are questioning about the rules. Are the rules for everyone else or someone else for the specific groups like that? The second one is liberalism. Liberalism is an ideology that emphasizes individual rights, personal freedom, and limited government power. According to my opinion, democracy, liberalism, communism, socialism is changeable society to society. Let me explain why. If you are governing a minor societies like the Czech Republic and maybe something like maybe not a Portugal but the Czech Republic, Latvia, Estonia, maybe democracy can be useful in these countries. But if you are governing Canada, Russia, even the Ross mentioned that before. If you are governing the big countries, it is better not to choose democracy. The monarchy is better because the country needs to continue by a single man if your country is so big. So the ideas, all the ideologies are replaceable by time to time. That's the reason why we shouldn't stick on an idea. And I'm not just preferring anarchism. If you are just sticking on an idea, not having an idea, mostly you will do the mistake. You need to just find a road, even if you are just using a ship. So finding a route, even it's wrong, it's better than not to have a route. So the problem is here, we need to just find an aim first, even it's wrong. The aim can just bring you somewhere else, but the daydreaming or dreaming just bring you everywhere else, like Einstein mentioned that before, but we are not getting into this topic as well. So liberalism is like that, but excessive liberalism is not very good. Like the excessive capitalism makes the people just under the not in a control, and they can just access their wishes, their desires. For example, BDSM, the other sexual behaviors in the America. So they can just really exaggerate the liberalism. That's the reason why the middle level of the middle level of the freedom is very important. If you cannot just exceed your limits, the limits will going to be changeable society to society. So if you are just affecting society, it is better to make specific limits for all the communities, for the association. Like the communism. Communism is a system where private property is abolished and the means of the production are collectively owned. Its goal is a classless society. So I'm not defining the communism here. When the Russia effect, there was a Cambodia. I just don't remember his name, but Chapol. I'm not sure. Palhol, like something like he went to France, he came back to Cambodia, and then he managed the country in a very bad way. He just killed the 1 million or the 1.5 million people in the Cambodia. I'm so sad. And Stalin killed the Kazakh people in the Kazakhstan. Also, they killed the Holodomor for the Ukrainian people. I'm so sad for them. So even the communism can be replaceable in a very hard situation. So people shouldn't just defend I'm just defending socialism, but I'm not a socialist anymore. Like we are not defending the idea fully. If you are defending idea as a fanatic, probably you will do the mistake. You shouldn't forget about that. All the governors are the human beings. They are not very equal position in like a god. So you need to keep it in your mind. Like the capitalism is an economic system based on private ownership, free markets, competition, and profit. Well, the capitalism is very good if you are living in the very heterogeneous countries, heterogeneous cultures like the United States, like the America. But somehow, if the United States just start on an imperialism, if they wanna conquer the other countries like the Africa, they wanna imperialist powers to Africa, they wanna make the better, they want to utilize their situation, they wanna make profit by the other countries or second or third class countries. It's kind of bad because if you're a first class country, why you are a first class country? Because you are just like, how can I say, you are utilizing the second or third class nations. That's the reason why you are being a first. So the capitalism is not very replaceable idea, but it is not very supportable idea here, according to my opinion. The socialism is very understandable because socialism is priorities. The socialism socialism has the priorities which just the human beings are so important. Socialism advocates economic equality and collective control of major industries, often through the state or public institutions. So it's understandable and nobody will going to deny about it. So socialism can be useful for the countries who has the economical development, who has the economic growth. So if your country is stick on their religion or maybe the values of the culture, maybe the socialism is better because they can stick you in one position. The anarchism. The anarchism rejects the authority of the state and argues that society should organize itself through voluntary cooperation. According to me, it's wrong because think about the Bakunin, Mikhailovich Bakunin. The Bakunin started the idea of anarchism and he just excelled a lot country to country. So according to my opinion, everyone just demolish the statement. Even if you put out the statement, even you destroy the statement, there will be something like a war situation. Even the Thomas Hobbes mentioned that before. In the war situation, people can kill each other easily. Even a bad government is better than not have a government. That's the reason why I'm affecting that. I'm just supporting that. The anarchism as an idea can be useful sometimes because if the government managing you badly, it is better to just start a protest because you shouldn't do everything what the government says because they are also human beings. But the idea is just making the like collapsing, just trying to destroy the government, destroying the statement. It's not very useful because if you just destroy the government, you need to create you need to create another government. So mostly in the antique Egypt, people wouldn't just try to just destroy the government, destroy the statement because they were believed that the chaos is necessary for nation. If you are living in a chaos, maybe not only the governor but also the gods can be responsible from it. So, but it's also the mostly the idea as an antique Egypt is not only the gods but also the manager is responsible for it. But the potential is like something like understandable, like it's tangible percentage. So the theocracy. The theocracy is a form of government in which religious leaders rule and political authority is based on religious love. Okay, the religious love is so different. Okay, brother, like the theocracy. If you believe in a theocracy, according to my opinion, it is not very useful because if the country is getting managed by the theocracy, by the religion, so it can be collapsed. Like think about the Iran, think about the Afghanistan. Before the Islamic Revolution, Afghanistan were free. The girls can be open-minded. The girls can open their scarves and they can travel around the world. But even the Iran was same. Do you have you ever thought that the Iran wasn't Shia? They were believing the Sunni doctrine, but after the Shah Ismail came and he made them Shia. Even the past times, the I was just forget about the Zerdustism. Yeah, the Zerdustism and their sacred books, Averroes, just like the Avesta, like something like if I'm not saying this wrong, please just correct me on the comments. Avesta, like the Zerdush, like the book is the. Well, there was like the books like the Zerdush. Arvores, like the Avesta. Yes, the Avesta were a sacred book for the Zerdustism. So, in the past times, the Iran were giving a lot of meaning to book of the like the Avesta, but even they made a lot of sculpts and a lot of structures for this Avesta, but they were just like praying to the fire. But after a while, after they get meet the Islam, they just fight with the Islamic religions and they accept the Islam, and then they change everything. They became this addict. They get addicted by the Islam, and they are just making a tangible, very strict Islamic doctrine in Iran. So they just choose the doctrine of a Shia. So it is understandable the idea here, but according to my opinion, the nations didn't lost its core because the core has changed their shape, according to my opinion here. The fascism, like the fascism, okay, let's think about the fascism. The fascism is an authoritarian and ultra-nationalist ideology that promotes a strong centralized power and suspension of opposition. Fascism, yeah. The fascism is not very understandable. Even the Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, Hirohito, they were the great leaders trying to just believe in the fascism. So your members, your country people are more dominant rather than the other races. So according to me, it is really racism. It's really just getting fit with the racism. The fascism is not very understandable idea here. Yeah, if you are just winning, if the Hitler were just gained the World War II, probably the history will be understanding in a different. Maybe we were just saying about the good things about the Hitler, but even it's so, even the Stalin just won the game. Probably we are not. I'm not liking the Stalin. Why? Because nobody wants to just going to the clocks or some like a very bad position. Nobody wants to work for the government from morning to night. Because it is better sometimes. Excessive communism is not very good. Excessive capitalism is not very good. We need to keep the balance alive. like that Aristotle mentioned that before. The libertarianism is prioritize individual liberty and minimal government intervention in both economic and personal life. The personal life is very important, according to my opinion. Libertarianism is sometimes can be useful, but according to my opinion, it is changeable country to country, to culture to culture. The Turkish culture is a bit of conservative. The libertarianism is not very useful here because in the nationalist countries, libertarianism can be understandable as a threat. Why? Let me explain why. Because the government mostly just giving decisions about the people. Why? The people don't want to just create something new here, and they get used to getting managed by the people who can just believe in they can manage them. That's the reason why they are just giving rights to someone else who can get managed by them, and there's an invisible governors, and they are managing that, and they are believing like the god. The god is governing us invisibly, like the hand of a god. Some like Adam Smith mentioned that before. But it's not very useful in some societies. The monarchism. Okay, let's think about the monarchism. The monarchism supports a system where a king or queen rules the state, usually through hereditary succession. Okay, do I just believe in the monarchism? No. On the Macbeth, Hamlet, you have read a lot of the books, right? The monarchism can be wrong, even the Victorian era. In the Victorian times, the babies were just working in the very very young age, maybe the 5 or 6 years. So the monarchism can be useful for the sacred families or the minority families, and they are managing the country, they are getting the more resources, the class exchange is really limited. The class exchange is possible for the people who is just near the government. According to my opinion, the middle class should be get more power, and the country can be manageable. Because if you make the other people poorer, if you make the richer more richer, mostly when the country get collapsed, the society will going to support when the government is collapsing. Why? Most if you make out of discrimination, out of distinguishable mistakes in the society will going to keep their temper in their inside, and they will vomit it one time. The monarchism is not very useful. The democracy is better than the monarchism. If I'm going to prefer something, I prefer the democracy because it is predictable. But the monarchism is not predictable. That's the reason why. If the king is get up from the bed in a bad mode, if you just say something bad for the king, probably you will get executed. That's the reason why monarchism is not very useful idea here. The federalism. Okay. The federalism is a political system in which power is divided between a central government and the recognition government. The federalism or the federalism is maybe useful in the United States. If you are living in the United States is a very big country. That's the reason why you cannot manage every federal states in a one hand. So it is better to just get missions. Someone else just give a mission to federals, and they can manage the country. They can manage the states. But these people should be start from the scratch, and you shouldn't give a lot of power to someone else. So they need to get the power slowly. That's the reason why federalism can be useful in the big countries. Even the Russia can just get managed by the federalism, according to my opinion. But the Russia is can be understood as a communist, sometimes socialist. That's the reason why they also believe in Christianity, maybe the Protestant Christianity. But the monarchism or the federalism can be useful. Maybe federalism can be useful in the capitalist countries, but I'm not sure. According to my opinion, why the Russia doesn't get managed by the federalism. The federalism is very important idea for Russia, according to my opinion. The social justice. The social justice refers to the pursuit of fairness and equality in society, especially regarding rights, opportunities, and resources. The social justice is equal with the socialism, according to my opinion. Socialism can be understandable as a process of the transparency to the communism, but according to me, it's wrong. Socialism is an idea for itself. It doesn't just some like a transposition for the communism. We are not transing to communism from the socialism. The socialism is better in itself. It's not whether not going to communism or something ideas as well. The centrism. Centrism seeks a balanced position between political extremes, combining ideas from both the left and the right. Yeah, according to my opinion, it's also can be useful centrism in the verified societies. Maybe in the Middle East, centrism is very important because they are fighting each other from morning to night. So centrism can be useful in the Middle East. The popularism. The popularism is a political approach that claims to represent the interests of ordinary people against elites or powerful groups. Yeah, the populism can be understandable, but also in the populism, there are some people who are just managing the populism, like the influencers, like the YouTubers. They are managing the society, and they can use the populist words, and they can just make their actions utilized by the people, and they are getting themselves right. So even the most the famous people on the internet, they can do a lot of unethical words, unethical. They can do a lot of unethical behaviors, but society is like not going to disobey them because they are mostly in the frame. They are representing society. If you are famous, you need to just take care of your actions because society can judge you. Whether it's good or whether it's bad is changeable, but at the first we need to just understand the idea. If you're like to go into nightclubs, you shouldn't just hide it from the society. You need to show it. According to my opinion, I'm just a relaxed someone else. I like to make the girlfriends. According to my opinion, yeah, getting married is important, but not nobody's getting married easily. So if you are just going to judge me if I'm going to nightclubs, I'm going to say it. So why you are getting married? Why you are doing the sex? If the civil servants, if they are just working for the government, cannot go to the sex, probably it's not unethical. It's also unethical. Everybody can do the sex, brother. It's so important for everyone else. So let's get into our topics. The nationalism. The nationalism emphasizes loyalty, identity, and the unity based on a shared nation, culture, or ethnicity. Even you can live in another different countries. For example, I'm a Turkish. If I'm living in Japan, probably will I support the Japanese society, or will I continue to connect with my ties between the two kai? So probably I will continue to connect my ties between the two guys. But if my child is born in the Japan, probably he or she will get affected by the Japanese culture. Maybe he can or she can just define himself as a Japanese. It's understandable because where you get meal, the country will be yours anymore. That's the reason why the place where you are born maybe can recognize you, maybe they can declare you. You need to show respect to your country, but you shouldn't have a sense of belong. Your sense of belonging can be changeable if they don't give you a right, if they don't just give you resources. Probably I'm so alone for 26 years and I didn't get any resources from this country, so I'm just losing my sense of belonging. So it is the negotiable topic here. It's arguable. So in the context of the also the feminism, I also want to say the feminism. I shouldn't just forget about the ideas about as well, because if you are not talking about feminism or other things, feminism is a moment and ideology that seeks equality between men and women in social, political, and economic life. But I'm going to question about this issue. If the feminism just saying that and arguing that and asserting that the man and woman should be equal, but why any feminist doesn't do any protest for a man? Mostly they are doing the strike for the woman. So they are calling it feminism. According to me, feminism is something like a key factor for the capitalism. The feminism is a hiding in a capitalism. The capitalism showing its way. The girls should be free. But if the girls should be free, aren't they are free? How much freedom they want? Just want to understand. They are not going to army and they are saying that we are making babies. Okay, the men are so dying. We are not. I'm not saying that the girls are not important, etc. Because you need to understand your sentences. The capitalism is mostly declaring the game, and the feminist people just trying to find a rule for themselves. Why the girls participating in the feminism? Have you ever think that? Because they want to get space and they want to get more recognition. Why they are doing the strike? Because they want to get away by the society. They are showing their pictures on the social media. We have made strike the government. We are so powerful. Why? Because they want to lose sex, according to my opinion. But it's not changeable. It's not only the sex, but also are they are also just forgetting something. The girls are also dying. Okay, I'm so sad for it. Their girls are also dying. I'm so sad. Okay, but the men also dying. Nobody is going to complain about the situation. Even in the army, even they are just doing the hardest jobs. They are doing the construction jobs, and nobody is talking about that. Okay, I'm going to against with the feminism here. Why nobody is doing a walk for the guys, for the men? Why all the women doing a strike, doing a walk for the woman? What is the idea of feminism? Isn't it feminism just protecting the rights of the man and woman, or only the woman? If only the woman just protects their ideas, so it's in the end, if they get the more power, probably they will change the situation and they will make the men slaves. So they will think that we have a right because they think like we also being slaved by the man, so we have a right to make the man slave. It will be end up with like that. That's the reason why I'm not supporting the feminism idea, because also the some girls support the feminism, but meanwhile they are doing the very bad things and they are trying to make them justify with using the feminism. Even some people in Turkey, they are using the some like a picture of the Atatürk. They are using the picture of the flags, the Turkish flags, and they are doing to justify their actions, their behaviors. I'm really against that. So that's the reason why. Meanwhile, I think that the girls are important, but they shouldn't make justify their behavior, their actions by just getting out of rely on the feminism. That's the reason why I'm just really against that. The environmentalism. Okay, environmentalism focuses on protecting nature and promoting sustainable development to prevent ecological destruction. Yeah, if you are just interested in the ecological structure, it is better to just prefer the environmentalism. If I had a chance, probably I want to go to Japan. Like there are a bunch of the ideas as well, like, but we are going to come back to our main idea here. Why I was just talking about these ideologies before I need to get into my main topic, main affair here. Let me explain. So it is very a bit of complicated, and I am not just waiting you to understand the situation, but we need to just delve into the topics before we need to get a mega better understandable topic here. So I have jumped a lot of topics, but we are going to start from scratch. So the crisis of belief. Modern societies once relied on grand narratives. The grand narratives are very important, large frameworks that gave meaning to history. Example: Christianity, Enlightenment progress, Marxist revolution, national destiny. Today, these narratives are increasingly questioned. Incredulity toward metanarratives. Okay, would you just believe on the Jesus Christ, just get into the crucifixion and he went to the sky, etc.? Are you guys thinking it as a miracle? The most of the miracle are just getting questions by the people anymore. Even the Protestant, like the Martin Luther, he hang out his 95 theses to the wall of the church, so they start thinking about what's going on, like the protests. Like the Protestants. Why they are the Protestants? Because they are going to protest. Yeah. What are grand narratives? Grand narratives are universal stories that claim to explain to history and knowledge. The grand narrative. Enlightenment. Humanity progress through reason. So Christianity. History leads to divine salvation. Marxism. History ends in classless society. Classless history ends in classless society. Liberalism, free markets produce prosperity. So whether the Marxist idea is tangible here, the history ends in the classless society. So most of the wars and the conflict theories are just happening for the classes. Let me explain one thing. Just reduce all the classes and just delete all the classes in this world. what will happen? If you think there is no classes, probably there won't be any justice. For example, people need the classes. The classes are important. But I'm not just showing that if the classes doesn't happen, probably it will be better. I'm not going to defend it. Why? If everybody can be a classless, probably everybody can be a president, because there is no class anymore. Everybody can be a judge. Everybody can be a politician. Everybody can be a governor. So if there is no classes, probably if everyone is governor in the country, who is the real governor? We need someone else. Rather than all the societies cannot be combine each other, even they are conflicting with each other, whether the classes exist or not. So the Marxist ideas are not very tangible here. I'm not going to defend the Marxist ideas here, because they are just make up something, and after they make up something, other people trying to believe on it, and they are thinking that as a truth. So it is the questionable idea here. So all the narratives, as I mentioned that before, they are dying. Just trying to understand society, social structures, social norms, traditions, customs, taboos, and all the things we have believe on it. Only the maintains of the system, only the maintains of the powerful ideas. So are we really believing the truth, or are we really believing the power? The power declares the truth. The truth cannot declare the power. That's the reason why we need to just make a distinguish about the two concepts. If you have the power, you can declare the truth. That's the reason why we are living in the post-truth world. Every truth can replaceable. Every truth can changeable. You didn't kill someone else. You have cleaned the somewhere else from someone. That's the reason two concepts can be changeable anymore. The Enlightenment narrative progress. Science would liberate humanity. Rationality would eliminate superstition. Society would continuously improve. The philosopher like Immanuel Kant believed history was moving towards rational freedom, but the 20th century shattered the optimism. Yeah, and when you believe in the science will liberate humanity, the science didn't liberate the humanity, because even the Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and Hiroshima get bombed by the United States 2 times. So it was a very bad idea for Japanese people, and the result for them. So the science can be very dangerous with the dangerous people's hand. So they can use it in a very bad form. For example, think about the Hitler. He also collected a lot of the Jewish, and he fired them. And also, it is so sad. Even the Jewish people, for now, nowadays, they are just fighting with the Gaza. I'm so sad for the Gaza people. They are fighting with the Palestine. Even the things are happening in the Palestine, so sad, because we shouldn't think about the situation as a religious perspective. If someone else dying without any consciousness, without any wish, without any choice, so it is not allowable. We shouldn't allow it to happen. As a human being, I'm so sad. I'm not a governor of the Turkey. I cannot give a hand to Gaza. My only words can be helpful for them. I'm so sorry for Gaza, because they are also suffering. I was also just struggling and searching. The people from Palestine, they also had the doctor degrees. They also studied medicine. They also studied computer engineering, but they are also carrying the water supplies for their families. I'm so sorry. Okay? I'm also sorry for the Ukrainian people, because they are also fighting with the Russia, and the Ukrainian soldiers have believed that they are fighting for the government, but they have died in the Ukraine. But the richest Ukrainian people went to Antalya, went to Sweden. They were still celebrating. They were still partying. So what is the reason behind while the Ukrainian soldiers are dying? I'm so sad for Ukraine as well, because Ukraine is in the war, but while the Ukraine is in a war, they are richest people going to other countries, and they are partying. So it is not very ethical behavior here, according to my opinion. Everyone just the situation just trying to be lower with someone else who has married. That's the reason why it's a so sad situation. You need to just wanna be girlfriends for someone else. You wanna make a lower couple. You wanna be coupled with someone else. So you need to understand he or she is single as well, like you. So here the enlightenment process is just questionable again. Another thing is the collapse of faith in progress. The progress the progress is showing us that it is not very positive. The progress can be end up in a very negative form. We also thought that we are just going to progress and the the human nature is progressing and we won't do the fights anymore and we will only live in a peace. But it didn't happen. Most of the people are fighting with each other and the life is not very easy for everyone else. The World War One, the World War Two, the Holocaust, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki technology didn't produce only progress. It produced mass destruction. So most of the technologies have replaced itself, the ideologies, even the ideology of the Hitler, saying that the Aryan race. But the Aryan race ideology is coming from the Iran, coming from the India. Even he doesn't fit with these ideas. And the thing about the Hirohito, Japanese nation is so awry, Japanese people so powerful. They made a massacre in the Nanking, and the Nanjing massacre is so hard for the Chinese people. I'm so sorry. It's so rough, and it is not very supportable idea. I'm so sorry for the Nanking massacre happened in China. I'm so sorry. So that's the reason why technology didn't help us. It actually changed a warm position. Sometimes even the Genghis Khan periods, they were fighting with each other quickly. If the population just getting boom, most of the wars are starting to happen because the resources are being limited. And nobody can just reach the resources. Nobody is going to start a rebellion. Even in Turkey, people just here living in poverty. People eating just the bread and people trying to be happy. It's not. I cannot be happy if someone else eating only bread. If I'm just eating meal, I will be so sad because we need to understand them. But actually, they shouldn't be have to worry. I'm living in the apartment. I'm not also so much rich. So, guys, you shouldn't be bad about that because if your country is suffering, if you are in a position in the government, you need to also suffer as well. Why? Because your members are suffering. How you can think about yourself if you are in a good position? So here, if the people are just suffering, we need to think about our own people, because you are just managing the people by their own sake. So you are not in that chair by your own. They vote you, they support you. But you shouldn't have to be nationalist here. I'm a socialist here, but nationalism is not very useful. Everybody should be free. Everybody should experience the personal life. Yeah. The crisis of ideology. In the 20th century, several ideologies collapsed. The communism, Soviet collapse. 1991. Fascism, World War II, defeat. The colonization moments. These events created what many sociologists call ideological fatigue. So some ideologies like the fascism, like the communism, like even sometimes socialism, not very useful for everyone else. The socialism just presenting a heaven, a utopia, even the communist utopia. Have you ever think about the communist utopia? It's some like a very great propaganda. Mostly the leaders are doing the propagandas, like the Hitler has a propagandist. He has a propaganda doer whose name is Goebbels. Goebbels was doing his propagandas even the booms are just coming to Berlin. They are even the Berlin is even meanwhile the Berlin is getting booming, and Goebbels trying to give his speech, the propaganda. So people need to understand. People can get assemble with somewhere else. Even they don't do the fight, they can do the fight for the idea, the ideology. The ideologies can bring the people together. Even the ideology can be wrong. For example, think about Genghis Khan. If you're just being with Genghis Khan ideology, just getting separate all around the world, just conquering the world, and coming to Anatolia, Europe, etc. So what is the reason behind all it? So you support Genghis Khan. If you are supporting Genghis Khan said that you need to kill someone else. Would you just do that for the Genghis Khan? Yes, because you are believing the society. If it's a small amount of people or the groups believing the leader, if the leader says something wrong, people don't question about it, and people going to just obey the rules, and they are doing it. Maybe it can be wrong because I want to think about the World War II, like the Eichmann and the Stauffenberg. They were the two soldiers of the Hitler. Stauffenberg coming from an aristocratic family. He thought about the German nation, and he tried to start an assassination for the Hitler, but he couldn't success on it. Eichmann, he only obligate the rules. So who likes their government a lot? Think about yourself. Maybe I think the Stauffenberg. But it's also wrong. The choosing. Maybe the Stauffenberg, the concept is so wrong. Because the Hitler get vote by the German people. So it's so sad. The ideologies, the conflicts are happening everywhere else. Some people are not getting satisfied with that. And some people are trying to be satisfied, or maybe they are looking like that. So it is very arguable idea here. Think about the knowledge in the postmodern condition. So Lyotard argues that knowledge has changed from. Instead of universal truths, we now have fragment knowledge, localized truths, competing discourses. Science itself becomes a language game. So the knowledge can be replaceable and can be changeable by the authorities. When you are trying to buy an article, you need to pay money. So why we are just trying to buy an article? For the trying to explore or to discover the secret knowledges, secret information. So the logic is changing anymore. So the knowledge, the information is changing. For example, would you believe something, even the wrong sentence just getting said by Trump, or even something just getting said by someone else, very ordinary person? So probably you will going to believe something, the sentence which is get said by the Trump. Why? Because if you are in a good position, it means that you are very smart and you can continue and you can maintain it. But actually it is not. The people who are just managing you are not all the intelligent people, or not all the intellectual people. Even in some case, you understand, even the press cannot send the correct message with grammar mistakes. That's the reason why. Even the queen, the kings, even the politicians, even the presidents can talk about the honesty, but they are not honest in their lives. Mostly they are getting into this position while they are just wearing a mask, like that. So another question is like language games and the fragment truth. Lyotard borrows from Ludwig Wittgenstein. The truth depends on language games, the science, empirical verification, the love, legal reasoning, the religion, faith and revolution. There is no universal language that amplifies them all. So we are mostly believing the laws, but we are forgetting something. The laws are changeable society. In some societies, drinking alcohol may be forbidden. Think about the Taliban. If you are living in Afghanistan, if you wanna drink the alcohol, maybe it's forbidden. But even if you go to the Amsterdam, people can do the sex on the streets. So what is the love? The love is just getting declared by the societies which they have been living. So the loves are changeable. Society are changeable. Think about Iran, as I mentioned that Iran people were the Sunni, but now they are believing the Shia, as I mentioned that before. So the power can reshape yourself, because if you don't obey the power, then it means that you can get destroyed by the power. If you wanna just if you want to just fight with the power, if you are not very strong, if you are not very powerful, you will lose the war. That's the reason why the first people need to analyze and understand their conditions first. So the other thing, the rise of micro narratives. Instead of grand narratives, society now operates through small narratives. The identity politics, local culture moments, subcultures, online communities, the plural and fragment. So the fragment is changing. For example, you are trying to be in a community like the anime-based community, so mostly you are doing maybe cosplay, maybe you are speaking in Japanese language. So you are trying to make a tie between your target language. So people wants to create a community, even in online, even in the real life. But mostly in the real life, we don't have a lot of friends. That's the reason why we are just relying on the communities online. We are coming to our houses or bullshit houses, even our refrigerator empty. We are thinking about the Tomorrowland celebration. Your refrigerator is empty, but you are thinking about the Tomorrowland celebration. They are drinking alcohol in the Tomorrowland, in the Canada, maybe in the Thailand, but you are watching the rich people while they are enjoying, while you are just watching your empty refrigerator. The community. Mostly people wants to believe in a communities. Mostly people participate in the communities. If you are participating in communities, you feel better yourself. You feel yourself better. You feel yourself alright. That's the reason why communities are so important. Even the communities aren't very targetful, even very maintainable. Most people want to most people want to sense somewhere else. That's the reason why the sense of belonging is so important. If you don't have a sense of belonging to your family, you are just calling a new communities online, maybe the anime communities, maybe the pop culture communities, maybe K-pop, maybe the Korea culture. Mostly I was just watching the girls from Delhi, India. Most of the girls are just getting appalled by the Asian people. They like the Asian guys, and they are mostly just giving to like the Asian people, the Asian guys. So it is their chosen. Maybe the media effect is so important. The media pushing the out of Korean or the Japanese movies, and that's the reason why people trying to highlight, people trying to watch this kind of movies, and they are getting impacted by them. Yeah, it is kind of understandable idea, but it's also normal. That's the reason why we also need the sense of belonging to somewhere else. The media, information, and postmodern knowledge. Digital technology accelerates fragmentation. Internet culture produces endless information, competing truths, algorithmic narratives. Truth becomes network rather than universal. So the truths can be flexible here, and the technology can change the information. If you're just using the AI, you can change the idea to your side. You can just even manipulate the judge as someone else. There are a bunch of information on the internet. Mostly we are living in the digital world, which have the the limitless information, endless information, the competing truths, the algorithmic narratives. If you are using your algorithm, if you are just believing in some parties, most of your algorithm bringing your ideas to somewhere else, and you are just mostly just getting exposed to the people who have the same ideas with you. So you need to find the exact people who are thinking same with you. So it can be changeable sometimes. And I'm living in the Turkey. It is really hard to someone if for someone like me finding someone else just who are thinking like me. So here the question is creating your own community is better. Most of the communities are so important, and people think that communities aren't important. Communities is not, well, because most of the people wants to belong somewhere else. So even online, even in real life, we are just creating some small amount of the people. Why? Because mostly want to belong somewhere else. Why you are participating in a party in your class? Why? Because if you do something bad, you can just expel by your class, by your friends. That's the reason why you want to stick your friends. Even you are not very religious person, you are acting like a religious. Even you don't like the religion, you are acting like you like the religion. You need to order to society. You need to order to party. You need to order to community. So the community rules are so important. Even if you are believing in socialist communities, you need to pay money for this changeable because you are just partying a party. So the part of a party is part of our lives. So it is limitless circle, you're right. The postword and the crisis of authority. The decline of grand narratives leads to a new phenomenon. The post-truth politics, the characteristics, distrust of institution, conspiracy theories, competition realities. So in the politics, people mostly have tendency to flex the information by their own size. If someone else dying, it's okay, it's not a problem. If someone else, a girl dying, mostly the feminist people will going to say, oh, there's another woman murder, woman, uh, woman death, like I said, the woman murder. If to someone else believing this, the maybe the Christianity population will say, oh, another Christian has been passed away. If this girl was reading a book by the for example by the stories of the Genji, maybe the Haruki Murakami books, they are going to think about that, oh, another someone else who is just really inspired by the anime culture has been passed away. Mostly even the deaths are being important for the communities. That's the reason why people want to enter a community which they can be useful. For example, we are just following a lot of streamers, right, in our lives. So mostly you are sitting on a streamer, and then you are just trying to fake their moments, their actions, their behaviors. If your favorite streamer, if your favorite YouTuber likes to do something, probably you will also do it again. If your favorite YouTuber likes to play the football, you also try to play the football, because you mostly getting idol to this YouTuber and you are doing the same actions between he or him. So it is understandable. Mostly we are living in a post-truth world. If your favorite YouTuber saying something bad, saying something wrong, you are still continue to believe on it, because mostly we are not believing the knowledge. We are mostly believing something which we can think understandable, which we can think meaningful. That's the reason why in the sacred books we cannot try to look for information, because the sacred books should only be get believed rather than just trying to find the science in the sacred books. So the other things, the competition reality, the competing realities we talk about, the criticism of Lyotard. Some philosophers criticize Lyotard. Societies still rely on narratives. Capitalism itself may be a new grand narrative. Yeah, even we are just going to destroy the capitalism can reshape itself. The philosopher Jürgen Habermas argues that modernity is unfinished, not collapsed. Maybe we are in the middle of the modernity and we couldn't just finish our evolution. But it is changeable idea here, which idea you wanna believe. But mostly, as I mentioned before, ideas can be valid for some exact country, some exact age, some exact centuries. The existentialism may be important for the time of the Camus, time of the Sartre, maybe the Heidegger, Socrates, Kierkegaard, or the Camus, like the over the Nietzsche. The existential philosophers are giving a lot of meaning to life, and even the essence comes. The exist is coming before of the essence. That's the reason why essence is more important than the essence, the things which you are describe yourself, maybe the French, or maybe the German, maybe you are the Japan, maybe you are the Indian, maybe you are the Chinese. But your identification, if you're just getting experienced the identification crisis, you shouldn't forget that if the Qin dynasty wouldn't just continue to their empire, if the Han dynasty would continue its empire, probably we will going to just call this China to the Han. Yeah, it is changeable because you are just getting identified by the concepts, by the ideologies. So never let any ideology controls or manage you. Mostly people getting manipulated easily by the ideologies, and they believe on it and they are call it as a truth. So it's a very misconceptional behavior here. So you need to understand till it didn't so late. If you don't understand, probably it's gonna be tough for you. The last part, the conclusion, are grand narratives really that? We must ask a final question. If grand narratives have collapsed, what gives life meaning? What legitimizes knowledge? What binds society together? Lyotard's answer is modest. Instead of universal truths, we should accept plurality and difference. So, is the truth is solidity or the only or the unique? Or there are plural truths? So, even the concepts are changeable here. If you are believing on the one truth, maybe someone else can believe in a different way. For example, 2 plus 2 is equal 4. But nobody think that. You are just mostly making the 2 and just making it double. Maybe you are just multiplying the double and you are getting the 4. Maybe someone else trying to make the just like the plus between the 2 and 3, then he is getting the 5, and then he is just using the minus 1, so he's getting the 4. Everybody believes that the final answer is 4, but nobody is using the same method before reaching the 4. So maybe the 4 is truth for everyone else, but the method is so different for everyone else. Maybe everyone else has a God idea, but every idea of a God is changeable, person to person, country to country. So most of the tangible ideas aren't so changeable. So we need to understand what's normal, what's abnormal here. There are a bunch of legacies. There are a bunch of the conclusion here. So as in my opinion, sometimes the ideologies are important, but it's not. It shouldn't just get reshaped for yourself. I was believed that I was in Japan for a while, and I realized that Japan was a so beautiful country before I coming to Japan. But after I coming to Japan, I realized that it's a very fake society. People are just wearing the mask, honnen my differences. So mostly people showing themselves as but it should be on the social media. But they are mostly wearing a mask and they're not showing their real faces. That's the reason why I'm so angry for that. Mostly people shouldn't wear a mask, and people should show their real faces on the internet, on the real life. So that's the reason why I have lost a lot of friends, because I'm showing my real face every time. That's the reason why people are getting away from me. I got used to this situation. Even Salvador Dali, Camus, Nietzsche, and other philosophers as well, they were died alone. Why? Mostly people, this kind of people, try to say something not very understandable by the societies, and they, while they are getting the fame, meanwhile they were getting the haters. So if you are just gaining more haters rather than your followers, it's so bad. Mostly people can support you and most people cannot support you. So you need to understand what kind of people you are representing, what kind of people you are talking. So ideologies are talking in a one voice, but meanwhile in their insights they are just calling to everyone else. But not everyone can be a fascist, not everyone can be a socialist, not everyone can be a communist all the time. All the ideas are changeable time to time, century to century, location to location, time to time. That's the reason why we need to understand all the ideologies. Sometimes we can use them, but we shouldn't make use them as a tool for all entire life. That's the reason why I would like to highlight and high point this point of view. I hope I wouldn't do any drawback here. Thank you for watching until now. I hope the ideologies can be powerful in your ideas. Maybe it can be neglectful, but I'm not sure. I hope the ideas can be meaningful in your lifetime. So thank you so much for watching until now. I hope I can go to the Poland or the Europe if I get any support. If you guys like this kind of videos, please give a like, comment, and subscription below, and I could understand whether you guys like this kind of videos or not, because I need more comments in order to go to the Europe or in order to go to the other countries as well. Thank you so much. I hope I can be a travel influencer. I can travel around the world, and I can just do a free staying in your house. Maybe if you're a girl, you can just call me and I can stay at your house. I can just start a blogs in the abroad, maybe in your country. I want to travel around to all the countries. That's the reason why I'm being talking about the politics ideas as well. Thank you very much for watching until now. I hope I can make a girlfriend. I can go to abroad. Thank you so much. Thank you.